This is ACEP's Capital Minute, a look at what's happening in Washington, D.C. right now that's affecting emergency physicians and patients. I'm Laura Wooster. The House of Representatives remains in recess until Labor Day, but the Senate returned last week to begin consideration of a minibus funding bill that includes appropriations for the Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Departments of Labor, Education, and Defense. This is particularly notable as this labor HHS appropriations package is typically the most controversial annual spending bill due to the policy riders that usually accompany the legislation. However, Senate leaders have agreed to limit any controversial amendments in an effort to secure a successful package of the bill with hopes of finishing it this week. You might recall from past Capital Minutes that Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas earlier this spring began sending letters to their HMO customers telling them that starting in June, they may be on the hook for the entire bill if they seek care in an out-of-network emergency department and their condition wasn't serious or life-threatening. As with Anthem's emergency care denials, ACEP was clearly against this and took immediate action, sending a letter of strong concern to the Texas Insurance Commissioner, as well as joining with a number of other concerned emergency medicine organizations on a letter to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas urging the insurer to drop the new policy. As a result of this and other advocacy by many other concerned stakeholders, the insurer agreed to delay the policy for 60 days. Unfortunately, it was announced earlier this month that the policy is now going into effect. ACEP is continuing to actively fight this policy change, believing it is in violation of the federal prudent layperson standard and it's putting patients at risk. To read the letters ACEP sent on this issue, visit the page at the bottom of your screen and stay tuned for more updates. The Emergency Department's Sickle Cell Care Coalition, which ACEP helps to lead, hosted a summit last week in Washington, D.C. on how to improve emergency department care for patients with sickle cell disease. Key professional and public sector stakeholders, including from the federal government, attended the meeting and discussed in an open forum how to break down racial and socioeconomic barriers, improve education about the disease, specific actions they could take to improve care, and how to treat the acute and chronic pain caused by this disease in a responsible and humane way. The summit was kicked off by a keynote speech by Admiral Brett Giroir, the Assistant Secretary for Health at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, who talked about his personal connection with the disease and his and the administration's commitment to working together with multiple stakeholders to help improve care for these patients. A big win for ACEP. Last year, ACEP submitted an alternative payment model called the Acute Unscheduled Care Model, Enhancing Appropriate Admissions, to the Physician-Focused Payment Model Technical Advisory Committee, or PTAC. The PTAC reviews proposed physician-focused payment models and makes recommendations to the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for their consideration for implementation. ACEP's model is the first ever alternative payment model that gives emergency physicians a leading role. We are happy to announce that after months of internal discussions with the PTAC, our model will be discussed and voted on at the next open PTAC meeting on September 6th. If approved, it then moves to the HHS Secretary for consideration. While there's still a long way to go before the AUCM model can become operational, this is an important step in the process and we are pleased to see it. Stay tuned for more updates. DC is quieter than usual this week as House members are home for the summer recess. With midterm elections just around the corner, most are focused on their re-election races. Part of our work here in the D.C. office is managing ACEP's Political Action Committee, or NEMPAC. Due to the generosity of thousands of ACEP members, NEMPAC has already donated nearly $1.6 million to legislators and candidates running for the U.S. House and Senate in November. NEMPAC is bipartisan and managed by the NEMPAC Board of Trustees, which is comprised of ACEP members from around the country, including one resident member. Many NEMPAC contributions are donated at local events by ACEP members themselves who support NEMPAC. For more information, go to acepadvocacy.org. That's ACEP's Capital Minute for the third week of August 2018. I'm Laura Wooster. Thanks for joining me.